Hello there, match 11 of the 1975 Cricket World Cup on Brian Lara Cricket has been played. It was the United Arab Emirates against the rebel South African 11 at the Oval. The fifth consecutive day that a World Cup group match has been played at the Oval. The Oval seemed to be getting all matches recently. This was played on a dusty pitch, a very, very dry pitch with lots of turn. But let's have a look at the final outcome. There is the outcome. The rebel South African 11 won the toss and let their bat on a dry pitch, a very dry pitch, and of their stroke play, and I forgot to turn the sound down. First time in a while that's happened, so let's just turn the sound down so you don't get me thing. But let's have a look at the scorecard. You've got to say, they're batting, they were ultra aggressive against the West Indies and were all out for 222 in about 40 plus overs. Go back to the match report for that to see how many overs in which they got bowled out for. They were all out in just 39 overs here, so they were going at 6 and over. But you have to say, I mean, all catches, 0, 24, 47, 14, 13, 64, 12, 13, 40, 0 and 10. A really, really crazy effort, really, from the rebel South African 11. Almost playing like it was almost like a reduced game or a 30-over game or a 20-over game. They just literally hit out on every single occasion, and it was nuts, really. But this is even more impressive from the United Arab Emirates. All 10 wickets fell to the spinners. The slow left armer, 53 for 2. An off spinner, 26 for 1. Another off spinner, 30 for 2. 70 for 1 for the leg spinner was quite expensive, but 4 for 58 for the main off spinner. And opening bowler down the bottom there. He bowled brilliantly. It was a bit expensive. They were all expensive. Remember, they were going at 6 and over throughout, but they got them out in exactly 39 overs for just 241. But look at the run chase. The run chase was made so much easy. 118, 85, 27 not out, 10 and 0. They scored 242 for 3. They won the match in just 30.5 overs with United Arab Emirates, with a record run chase, with a record run rate of 7.9 and over, which is a record run rate for a completed innings. But have a look at this. This is also another, not necessarily an unwanted record from the rebel South Africans. They used all 10 outfield players, apart from the wicket-keeper, to bowl. 7 for 0, 9 for 1, 48 for 1, 17 for 0, 22 for 1, 34 for 0, 21 for 0, 37 for 0, 22 for 0, 23 for 0. And all 3 of their wickets went to medium pacers who don't bowl. So they were all part-time medium pacers who don't usually bowl. So the match summary in the end: South Africa won the toss. Rebel South African 11 won the toss and let their bat all out for 241, and an absolute crazy effort in just 39 overs, going at nearly 6 and over. And UAE 242 for 3. United Arab Emirates winning by 7 wickets in just 30.5 overs, with a record run rate of 7.9, a record run rate for completed innings. Man of the match is the opening batsman for his 118, the first Emirati batsman to get 100 in World Cup cricket and the 800 of the tournament. This has turned out to be quite a good chasing tournament. It's the 6th successful run chase in the last 9 matches here in this World Cup in England. So it's proven to be quite a successful tournament, and the overall now, you have to say, is pretty good. It's pretty good batting second, even though the pitches intend to be flat and dry, they seem to just get better as the match goes on. But UAE, United Arab Emirates, what a recovery. All out for 74 in the opening match against Pakistan. Fell short in an absolute thrill on this same ground against Kenya. And then they've just absolutely walloped this rebel South African 11, taking them to the cleaners in an utter sensational performance. Unbelievable effort. I just, what a recovery they've made. This means they're off the foot of the table. They've got their first win of a quarter on. The rebel South African 11 at the bottom. They've got one more match against the associate member Kenya in a few days' time. Lose that, they're almost certain to finish bottom of the table and probably will go out of the tournament without getting a single point. They've got New Zealand, they've got the West Indies and New Zealand after that. I think they play New Zealand first and then they play the West Indies afterwards. Tomorrow's match, Sri Lanka against Holland. Sri Lanka looking to build on their magnificent victory and magnificent batting display against Rhodesia. Holland looking to just try and gain some respectability after a dreadful performance against India. Utterly sensational performance, utterly sensational turnaround from the UAE. We ain't going to check player tracking. We ain't going to check player tracking because obviously we ain't going to check player tracking for that match between the United Arab Emirates and the Rebel South African 11 because I didn't include any Rebel South Africans in my 20 players to watch out for in the World Cup. I didn't include any Rebel South Africans in my 20 players to watch out for the World Cup. And obviously, as I said before, you cannot put associate players in the player tracking, which is unfortunate because it would be quite interesting to see where they would be, how their averages would sum up as a team, but you'll just have to look at the match reports to sort out the averages yourself. A very one-sided match. Probably the quality of the batting was appalling from the Rebel South African 11. I mean, the captain of the Rebel South African 11 made a passionate plea to the South African government after the match, which is politics and sport don't usually mix, but he was deploring the South African government. This is what happens when you don't play international cricket. The fact is they cannot go home because South Africans who play in South Africa are banned from playing in any sport. So they've come all the way to England. They play for county games like Kent, Essex, Gloucestershire and all that sort of stuff. So they only play county cricket. They don't play any international cricket at all. So they've sacrificed their lives to play for this Rebel South African 11. And he deplored the South African government to stop the evil apartheid and stop this evil crusade against black segregation for blacks and everything like that. And it's just, it's such a shame to see a South African side not included in international sport because of such deplorable people in the South African government. But nonetheless, that's match 11 of the tournament. Match 12 will be Sri Lanka versus Holland next. Sri Lanka looking to build on that magnificent performance against Rhodesia, whereas a victory for Sri Lanka would almost guarantee them a quarter-final place. It would leave them 1 foot in the quarter-finals, and Holland looking to recover from an awful performance against India. So until then, we'll see you for a match report. Until then, I'll see you when I'll give you a match report of Sri Lanka versus Holland in this 1975 Cricket World Cup being played on Brian Lara. Until then, bye-bye everyone.